What's up, everybody? Robbie here with the Nerd Cave Network, joined along with my dear friend,
Zach Dykes.
Guys, we're here to talk to you about Daredevil Season 2, as you can tell by our attire tonight. We just got through binge, and I'm talking binge watching all episodes of Daredevil. We'll start off, the first part will be spoiler free, so
You can stick around if you haven't watched all of the second season. Then you can stick around up to where we give the spoiler warnings. We will definitely tell you when they happen.
we're not one of those people who, blurt stuff out. So you'll know when to get off if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it and you want to hear our reactions to some pretty cool stuff, stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. So,
What did you think so far?
oh wow, definitely loved that they built on what they started in the first season with everything that happened between Nelson and Murdoch and Kingpin and everything else that happened that they took from there, and that's where it kept going. And the character development throughout the season was amazing. From Karen Page to Matthew to Foggy, everything worked really, really well.
And about what you were talking about, Matt and Foggy, you saw at the end of season 1 that friendship and that whole work environment started flirting with disaster because of Matthew putting on the devil costume and going out and kicking butt here and there. So it definitely took that to the next step.
Yeah, so what were some of your thoughts on it?
I can now officially, every time I see John Bernthal, I cannot call him John Bernthal. He is now and forever will be Frank Castle to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I cannot remember her name. It's on my phone. The woman who played Elektra. I got it right here. I'll pull it up. I can't stand not knowing names.
Elodie Jung?
Yes.
Something like that. Elodie Jung?
Well, she's now no longer that, but she is Elektra.
Yeah.
Like, both of those people coming in and you got to start off new with their character development right then, and from the first episode all the way to the last episode, they added so much to the Daredevil universe.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think the pacing that they had this season was very well done, well thought out.
Yeah.
How it went from the Punisher to Elektra, the Punisher, and it just kind of went back and forth throughout. Yeah, it was very well written and very well paced, which a lot of superhero shows have a problem doing. They have, either they're too slow or they're too fast on that. So season 2 definitely did it well.
And they haven't added so many superheroes that it's hard to keep up with, like a certain movie that's about to come out that has everybody in it.
Are you talking about Civil War?
Batman and
Batman
v Soup.
I think it'll still be good.
I do too.
The thing that interested me pretty much the whole season is they're getting closer and closer to the comic book with Daredevil.
We're not going to get he got accessories that went along with a lot of the stuff he did in the comic. It got, like he just said, super close, and like when stuff started happening, me and him both were just like, oh.
Yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about the Matthew and Foggy relationship, because throughout the comics, every time you turn around, they're about to close Nelson and Murdoch. Yeah. Every time you turn around. And this is the first time you really see that. It was a little bit in the first season, but it was for other reasons. But this took it to another level. So it was cool to see that they actually took an old trope that they use almost every arc and use it in the show.
Now, with that tying, it tied into Jessica Jones a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, because that law firm they got out there and everything, I'm wondering if they will get the band back together or.
Yeah, I think they will, and I'm glad to see the tie-in with Jessica Jones. You saw most of that with Claire when she was talking about, if you haven't watched Jessica Jones, just get ready, okay? That might become a spoiler if you haven't watched it, but what are you doing with your life if you haven't watched it already? But the whole Luke Cage thing that, she got in trouble for that before, and that's
yeah.
why she's working all these
pro bono cases.
Well, not really pro bono. She's working all the late ER, night shifts and everything. So it was pretty interesting to see them bring that in and then mention Jessica Jones by name.
Yeah. So, and by the way, it's played by my girl,
Rosario
Yeah.
Dawson. Yeah. Yeah. Action-wise, do you think that this season was better action-wise than the previous season?
I don't think it will ever beat the bowling alley and the first staircase.
This episode 2, the hallway shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whenever he's fighting the dogs of hell,
yeah,
in that hallway, like, it piqued the excitement that I had for season 1 with that action sequence.
Well, that was the Russians in season 1.
Well, I'm talking about in season 2.
The stairwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he puts Punisher in the elevator, and then, you see crap ton of the biker gang.
Yeah, biker gang just wanting to knock a skull in.
And he's already, been injured from the fight that he was just in with
the Punisher.
Yeah. So seeing him, he's like, here we go. And he's just like tearing them all up. Like, it was.
I think they had to try to top the hallway scene. And I think they did such a good job with the hallway scene that it made it really hard. But what they did with the stairwell scene, making it a continuous shot, or look like a continuous shot again, was just amazing. With the chain, it had the gun, duct taped to his hand and everything. It kind of reminded me, there's an old comic book cover where he has bandaged hands and everything, and he has a gun. But I was very, very excited with all the action from the Punisher stuff and Elektra and Stick, and just all the fights again looked choreographed. It will never be season 1 because
exactly
the reason why I say that, I think they elevated what they did in season 1.
Yeah.
But once you see the brutality and the physicality of season 1, you're expecting that in season 2. It's hard to.
I feel like no matter where they go with this, it will never beat that bone protruding from the bowling alley. Because that was your first taste of a gritty, a dark, Marvel TV show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, action-wise, I was all.
So, who was your favorite new character?
Even though I've hated this man and other stuff, Frank Castle.
Yeah, I'll never call him John Bernthal again. John Bernthal.
He killed it as the Punisher. No pun intended.
Double pun.
But he literally he was the Punisher. He was Frank Castle, and I think he was my favorite because of the brutality that he dropped 30-something or more than 30-something bodies in that season right there. So seeing him being the ultimate BA.
The opening of season 2 set the tone from where the Irish guy comes in and everything, and they're having this meeting, and then just all Hell's Kitchen breaks loose in that place.
Because everybody's just chilling at Josie's, and all of a sudden, Matt, he's playing with the gun. Is that what you're talking about when they're in the
No, I'm talking about the Irish guys
when they're talking
and
they get mowed down.
Yeah. But I just Reyes was pretty interesting as well, the district attorney that's in this.
Yeah.
And I think they use that very, very well to tell the story that this person is the bad guy or whatever. And you learn a lot throughout the season, and your perceptions of one person changes to something else throughout that. And that's so cool. And to see the season go on, and it gets pretty intricate, so you have to pay attention.
Yeah, a lot of plot twists. Every time something happened, I would be like, plot twist.
Yeah, exactly. My suggestion, don't watch it in one day.
Yeah, it is. I watched 4 episodes yesterday, and the rest today, but Zach caught up with me.
I watched all 13 episodes, so it was a long day for me.
It was. I mean, but it was worth it.
Oh,
definitely.
We
pushed through, enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you don't have Netflix, you can definitely get a free trial on Netflix.
It's like a 7-day free trial, and I mean, in 7 days you should be able to binge
You can watch season 1 and 2.
Especially when it's spring break week. Whoop,
yeah,
whoop.
for some people. For us, at least.
I know. I was going to tell a story, but we'll go.
We'll save that for later.
We ain't got time for that.
So, that's our... would you watch it? If someone said, hey, there's this new show, and here's that review, that's all they get to see is what we just talked about, do you think somebody would go watch it?
I mean, I seemed like we were excited about it, and we had some good points. I would definitely watch it. I mean, I'm a huge comic book fan, so, all these characters are coming to life, so it doesn't matter what it is. If it's comic book related, I'm going to watch it. So.
Yeah. I agree. If you're looking for something that is a little bit more gritty and grounded, I mentioned at one point in time, do you think they're going to go away from the grounded part because of some things, which we'll get to that here in a minute. And if you're looking for something that's not as kiddie as some of the Marvel movies have been, in which they've been very kid glove friendly, this is the thing for you. This is darker than Batman has been, or any of the DC stuff, and it still feels very real. Just be careful of who you watch it around. Little kids, I don't necessarily watch it around them because of all the violence, and there's one little scene of nudity in there. So
yeah, which is very surprising.
Yeah.
And also, I know in some points, like, it does delve into the supernatural, but so far in season 1 and season 2, it's kept reality like down to earth, down to what could happen in our actual world. Like you said earlier, it's happening in Daredevil. You don't see any, magic, or
you don't see any Thors
or Doctor Strange or anything like that.
So, guys, this is going to end the spoiler-free part. If you want to keep going to the spoiler part, that's fixing to happen in just a second. But guys, make sure you go and check out all of our other content that we have on our YouTube channel if you're going to just stop watching right now. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. All right, and you can check out our awesome Facebook group at where, Robbie?
Facebook.com/group/NerdCaveNetwork.
So there you guys. Thanks for watching. If you're ready for some spoilers, they're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you see that unicorn in that one episode?
That was fantastic. So, a lot of crap has went down.
Yeah.
Where do we begin on the spoilers?
Let's try to go chronological as best as we can. The first 4 episodes are Punisher based.
Very heavy Punisher.
And you get to see a lot of the interesting twists and turns between the Reyes, which is she's the district attorney like we were talking about, her conniving and all of that. Between the Nelson and Murdoch, they have a guy they're trying to get into witness protection. That's an Irish mobster. Grotto, yeah. And Frank wants to kill him. You also get to see Frank capture Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
See, and that's one of the most iconic scenes of all time. One thing I liked them doing is when, I think it was episode 2, Daredevil and the Punisher are fighting, and then like he's on the ground and he pulls the gun. And he's like, bang, boom, and he just shoots him. I'm like, what? But it was a great way for them to get rid of the old helmet, which I'm assuming people complained about or something. But they made a new helmet, Melvin.
I think that's his name.
Yeah, Melvin, which is the guy that made the Daredevil suit and everything. He actually crafted a helmet that's closer to the comic book one, and which I thought they did a really good job of making that oh, well, this is why he has a new helmet. It isn't just like, new season, new suit.
Exactly, and what's really cool is because that's how the Punisher fights. He pulls guns out of his butthole, it seems like, all the time.
That's what Robbie does.
A lot of room over there. But, like I said, the Punisher always has an ace up his sleeve, no matter what, a gun, a knife, whatever. So it was really cool to see Daredevil throwing him back, and he just pulls out a gun and pops him in the head.
Yeah, and when he just said bang and shot him,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And I think we kind of talked about how John Bernthal took the character. And we've already seen, before this, we saw two Daredevil movies, not Daredevil movies, two Punisher movies, and they were okay. The first one was better than the second.
Yeah.
But he took it to a whole nother level. He made this a believable character, how this character actually could be in our world right now.
And I'm not saying that there's a vigilante, but there has been cases of someone, losing so much that they do just have nothing else to live for. And that's really what the Punisher is. He's a man that has nothing left. And, of course, the bullet in his brain has the fight or flight, the adrenaline and everything running all the time. So,
and one thing that I really liked was the mystery behind why his family was killed. We're not going to get into every little detail of the story, but I really enjoyed that they took that little tidbit of why Frank Castle's family was killed and took it all the way
drug it
through the whole season.
Yeah, it was like 9 or 10 episodes.
No, it went all the way to the very end when they figured out the whole blacksmith thing and everything.
Yeah.
And so they took it from pretty much episode 1 to episode 13. And I love that. I like that the mystery kept going, and when you thought, oh, well, this is going to be the main bad guy. Did you like the Van Gogh from Doctor Who being one of the bad guys? He was the Irish mob boss that came in, red beard, red hair.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Van Gogh from Doctor Who.
Okay.
So it was weird seeing him go from Van Gogh, this nice, peaceful guy, to a mobster that got his place blown in.
But speaking of mystery, Elektra, for the most part, you always heard Stick, mention you don't know her, and you're just like, she likes to kill people. I mean,
Who doesn't?
What's wrong with that? And then it gets to where you find out that she is this black sky, this be-all, end-all monster thing, and I'm still wondering what the Black Sky is necessarily. I know it's the leader of the Hand, and I'm glad that they brought in the Hand in this. And it is super heavy into the Hand. Because as soon as I saw the ninjas starting to pop up more, I was like, said to you, I was like, that's the Hand. It has to be. It's not the Foot because that's Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the Foot Clan.
But it was really cool how they incorporated that, and Nabu coming back was intense. We found out that the only time he can possibly beat Daredevil is when he has his
little
knife
stick thingy on a chain.
Speaking of Stick, the Billy Club.
Oh yeah,
finally got introduced.
Last episode.
Yeah, we were sitting there. We had just talked 4 or 5 episodes. So I really wished it had the connect, the little wire. And Zach was sitting on his phone, and Melvin was like, "Hey, I got something for you." I was like, Zach. And he introduced it, and it had the nanofiber cable and everything.
And he could swing. And when he first swung,
and you saw him just.
I was just like, "Yes, thank you." Thank you, comic book gods.
It finally happened.
Because that's how Daredevil got around. Yes, he does the parkour and everything, but if you read the comics, he always has the Billy Club, and he's attaching and swinging around and everything.
Even in a bunch of the covers, you see him with it extended, and you see it weaving. Yeah.
And I'm just so glad that happened. Let's talk a little bit about Karen Page. What did you think about her character development throughout this season?
She definitely went from victim in season 1, you saw her starting to evolve into this kind of like a private eye type character, where she's able to even better somewhat than Matt and Foggy being able to dig up dirt on people. She doesn't stop. Once she gets her teeth lodged into you, she's going to find out just about everything.
Oh yeah, and she, even when she's threatened or anything like that, or told to stop, she keeps going, you know. And I think a lot of that was learned from Ben in season 1.
Yeah, because he pushed people's buttons, but he kept going, which inevitably got him killed.
Yeah.
But he didn't stop. He had that mentality.
What did you think about her somehow eventually becoming a reporter for the Bulletin?
It was a very weird transition because, like you said, you had no idea. Can she write? Is she able to write?
Yeah.
Does she have the, the vocabulary, the imagination?
Yeah, the word craft that it takes to be a writer for a major newspaper from New York.
And, like, front page, like, was talking about being given to her. So, I understood why they had to do it. I mean, they didn't have enough time to like, kind of have her be taught the string.
Yeah.
But
it felt a little shoehorned in. I did like it. I like that, because when you watch, if you're watching spoilers, this is, spoilers here. If you didn't know already, we are this far. The whole Nelson Murdoch closing down and everything, it was a way to get her
out of there,
but keep her in the story, in the loop of everything. Her relationship with Frank Castle was pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, there were times that it teetered a little bit on her backing off, but she always came back to him. She always, I felt, understood him better than anybody else on the show because of all the extra work that she did into learning more about Frank Castle and the Punisher and his family and all that stuff. So she connected more than anybody else did. So I think that's what gave her the ability to empathize with him.
Matt Murdock, I'm going to let you go on this one. Yeah, throughout the whole time we were watching, Robbie was just bashing my bro here.
I mean, I really do like Matt Murdock. I like the guy who's playing him. But I felt like this season was the same thing that all superheroes always do, and it doesn't make any sense. He pushes everybody that he cares about and that cares about him. He pushes them away. That's why his relationship with Foggy and Karen and everybody has started to dissipate.
Yeah.
He did things like they were pursuing the relationship between Matt and Karen, and all of a sudden Elektra comes back in his life and he can't keep it in his stinking pants.
He didn't even have sex with Elektra.
Oh, well,
the whole time.
I mean...
One of the best parts of the show this season was when Karen and Matt were going to start dating. They went out to dinner and everything, or he asked her to dinner, and it had been raining. They were about to get down to business, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But he said, "Let me take you to dinner."
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, yeah." And then she gets in the cab, and he goes home, and when he gets home, he's smiling for the first time. Like he seems like he's truly happy. And then he puts his hand down on the counter, and he picks up a dagger, and then it cuts to Elektra, and he's like, "Elektra," and end of the episode.
Which I somehow fell asleep, and I thought that I had finished episode 4, and I did not. And he told me that, I was like, I don't remember that happening at all. So, from what you told me, that does seem, because once you learn about the past between him and Elektra, you understand where he's coming from. He's like, great, Elektra's back.
Yeah.
Because she did him dirty.
Yeah. But you could see, like, the next episode, episode 5, where he was just shutting her down hard.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, he does not want anything to do with
and that's what I was like, okay, like, those episodes I was perfectly fine, but that was whenever he started pursuing Elektra more, I was like, come on, man. I was like, I know she's a vigilante with you and whatnot, but, I mean, you got it good with Nelson and Murdoch. And, of course, just like you said in the comic, there's always that tension between the relationship with all of them. So
Okay, let's get to the mystery. We talked a little bit about how the mystery went from episode 1 to episode 13 about Frank Castle's family. Did you expect the blacksmith to be who he was?
No, like when the general or whatever colonel
Yeah.
Was giving his testimony, he was like all gung ho. You know, Frank Castle did this. He saved my life. I was a stupid CO, and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, you know, he's nice. He's a good guy. And then, bam! I'm this heroin, pure heroin, the good stuff dealer that's took out everybody. Oh, and by the way, I killed your family, Frank.
Yeah, but it kind of putting it in perspective, do you remember how Frank acted when the colonel was giving his testimony?
He was always
he didn't even make eye contact with him, so you knew something had went on there, like looking back and everything. But after all of that stuff, you wouldn't have expected him to be the blacksmith, which if you know what we're talking about, the whole mystery and all the twists and turns, that was kind of interesting to see that this guy turned out to be the big baddie.
And to find out that he, you know, set up that whole trade at the carousel just to, I guess, take out competition. Because you had the Irish, the Dogs of Hell, and
the Mexican cartel.
And,
yeah.
Of course, Frank's family, which kind of, you know, dicked the colonel in the long run. Because Castle had his revenge.
Yeah, finally. But I think that the twists and turns that it went through, that whole mystery, was awesome. The hand, we talked about some like supernatural stuff. They had some interesting ways of masking their heart, which made combat interesting.
A lot of them had been, brought back to life. Because you saw one guy that had been killed at the hospital.
Had an autopsy.
And they were like cutting his shirt open to get him ready for an autopsy. And he had
the
scars from where he had already been autopsied. And I was like, that's sick.
Yeah. So some kind of supernatural stuff's going on there. And Naboo, of course, we saw him
getting toasted.
And
literally.
That brings us to the last little spoiler, which I called right before it happened.
Yeah, and because that was right after they got through with their heartfelt, we can run off together and be happy. Let's go to London.
And all these other places. And then when they were having the fight, I looked at Robbie and I was like, you know, it'd be interesting if they went the comic book route and Elektra died.
Killed her and then revived.
And then she gets resurrected.
I was like, you could definitely see that it was building to that. And I was like, okay. And at the last little bit, they're putting her in that giant egg tomb thing.
That we saw throughout the whole
And we were trying to wonder, what's in it? Well,
it's
been empty, but now it has Elektra's body in it. And you saw her in red, and like even her fingernails weren't painted red to begin with, and then you saw they were painted red. She had the red linens around her and everything. So I want to see if she'll have the more traditional style Elektra with the do-rag and the
it's going to be interesting next season. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you have watched it, let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you haven't watched it, then hey, all the spoilers.
Enjoy.
Yeah, but definitely, guys, let us know what you thought of the season down below in the comments below. Who was your favorite character? Did you think they did a good job with Frank Castle and Elektra? And guys, make sure you hit the like button down there, subscribe, and where can they find us?
We are all over social media. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and we have this awesome group on Facebook that's super active. Facebook.com/groups/NerdCaveNetwork.
Guys, thanks for watching. This has been Zach.
And Robbie.
Have a week.